السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته طلاب الأعزاء، شلونكم؟ إن شاء الله زينين، عساكم دائما إن شاء الله بخير. احنا درسنا في وقت سابق Unit 1 lesson 1 A school magazine. سنسوي عليها ريفيو إعادة سريعة. A school magazine قلنا هي شنو؟ مجازين، مجلة تصدر من قبل four students, produced by four students and an English teacher. Okay, other students from different classes write for it. They put their contribution. قلنا شنو contribution؟ يعني إسهامات. إسهامات يعني أعمالهم اللي يسووها. For example, they write about puzzles. They write about stories, for example, or school news or poetry. Some students like to write about poetry or write some poems. They like to send some letters, or they like to make some jokes. Okay, so they write all these things in a paper and put it in this box. You see this box? Okay, they put their contribution inside this box, and the four students collect the best of these contributions and post it in the magazine. Okay, so how many sections are there? We solved this before. Write them in alphabetical order. You can write the first one is cartoon, and the second one is, for example, interview, and you write down the rest of the sections depending on the first letter and the second letter and the third letter and so on. So this is called alphabetical order. Match the sections to these definitions. قلنا funny stories with small pictures. What is this for? It is for cartoon. Where is it? This one. So this is number A. Okay, short funny stories. In here jokes. Writing with words that rhyme. It is poetry. What is poetry? This is poetry. Okay, asking people questions about themselves. To ask and answer some questions with other people, called interview. As you know, what is the interview? Puzzles. This is the interview. Okay, things happening in the town event, descriptions of events, for example, football matches. We can say sport news or stuff like that. Yes, what is it? Sport reports. Okay, now state which section do you like most and why. Okay, so you can state that. Now we come to possessive S. Possessive S, as I told you before, it's very important. Possessive S is very important. Okay, we have two types of possessive S. S like this and S like this. You see here the apostrophe is before the S, and here the apostrophe is apostrophe is after the S. For example, go, and you need to know the difference between these two. As I told you before, don't forget that. For example, go and get the boys' bags. The boys here, boys' bags means one person, one boy. But go and get the boys' bags. Here, look at this. Look at the apostrophe. هاي الكومة اللي فوق يسموه apostrophe. Okay, look at the apostrophe. It is after the S, like this one. So this is two people or two boys and more. Okay, and more than 2 boys, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 10, etc. More than 1 boy. Okay, yes. The school's magazine is very interesting. Look here. The school's magazine is very interesting. magazine هنا تعود المن تعود للسكول. Why? Because we have possessive s. Okay, it's very interesting. One school, it means one school. Of course one, because it is like this one. One magazine. But the school's magazine, if the school here has a possessive s plus apostrophe after the s, it means this is what? 2 or more than one school. Are very interesting. You see here are, because it is not one. Are. Okay, more than one school, more than one magazine. Okay, here schools are plural and magazines are also plural. Before we move to lesson 2, I asked you before to select one of these sections and write a paragraph of 5 sentences about one of these sections. Okay, for example, writing about puzzles, or you should write about jokes or stories, one story for example, or you should write a poem for this poetry, or cartoon. What is your favorite cartoon? What are the heroes of this cartoon? And if you are interested in puzzles, you should also write something about the puzzles. Okay, choose one of these sections and write a paragraph of not more than 5 sentences. 5 sentences are enough. Okay, dear students, واضح هسه؟ Now we move to lesson 2, unit 1, lesson what? Lesson 2. Excellent. Lesson 2 is entitled a new project, just like the project that you are going to write about, using one of the sections that I mentioned before. Okay, a new project means مشروع جديد. Study these words and meanings and answer the questions. What do N and V plus dot, طبعا هاي dot هنا N plus dot V plus dot mean? What do these things or these letters mean? What do they mean? This N stands for means a noun, and this V means verb. Noun هذا اختصار noun الاسم، هذا اختصار الverb الفعل. Okay, how many meanings of printer are there? You should discover that. Okay, you should find that. What do report and reporter mean? Report and reporter mean. One is a noun and the other one is a verb. Which one is a noun? Report or reporter? Okay, and which one is a verb? So you should know that. Check that in your dictionary. Okay, yes. Now let's go to some important vocabularies. For example, the first one is article. Article is a noun. هذه اسم. Article means مجلة. It's a noun. And dot means a noun. يعني اسم. Is a piece of writing in a newspaper or magazine. Okay, a newspaper, piece of writing in a newspaper or magazine. Cover هو الغطاء كما تعلمون. It's also a noun. You see, a noun is the outside of a book or magazine. هذا الغطاء اللي موجود، الغلاف اللي موجود خارج الدفتر، الكتاب، المجلة إلى آخره. Edit. What's the meaning of edit? عندنا edit and editor. Edit is a verb, you see, and editor is a noun. Edit هو الشخص الذي يحرر، مو الشخص وإنما الفعل، يحرر المجلة الكذا إلى آخره. يحرر means to check and correct a piece of writing. To check and correct a piece of writing. Editor is somebody who edits. هو الشخص الذي يقوم بالتحرير أو يقوم بعملية correcting and checking. Okay, editor. So editor is a noun. A print is a verb, means to put words or pictures on paper with a machine. With a machine. So to print something. A printer, this is verb. Printer is a noun. You see, you put er to the verb, then it becomes a noun. Printer is somebody who prints as a job. Is somebody who prints as a job. Okay, someone whose job is to print the papers in the machine. Is a machine that prints, or it is a machine that prints. So it has two meanings. A printer أما هي طابعة، هاي طابعة معناتها is a machine that prints، كلنا نعرفها، أو الشخص الذي يطبع. Okay, so report is a verb. This one, report, as I told you, is a verb. V means to describe an event. Okay, report means to describe an event. Report also a noun. تجي فعل نفسيتها report، تجي فعل وتجي شنو؟ تجي noun. ان noun شنو معناتها؟ معناتها تقرير. report كفعل معناته يصنع تقرير، يعمل تقريرا. اوكي، يعني يسوي تقرير. Reporter also a noun, but it refers to the person. It refers to the person who makes a report. هنا نشير إلى الشخص الذي يسوي أو يعمل تقريرا. Okay, so what are these boys talking about? What do they decide to do? So this is very important topic for talking, for using your language. For example, hey Osama, look at this. I am a good photographer. Why? So I may ask you to tell me what is the content of this picture. What are there in the picture? Can you describe this picture for me? You tell me there are, for example, 4 students, 4 boys, 4 people, anyway, and there is also a tree in here, and they are almost in a garden or stuff like that. They are someone is raising his hand. You see that person or that boy is raising his hand, and the other one is waving his hand, and also another hand, his hands. Okay, and the other one is catching a book, and they are talking and discussing something. Okay, you have to tell me the content يعني محتوى الصورة. So this is actually the topic that I like to ask you if I am in the school with you. I mean in the classroom. So here, look at this project that I already asked you to do. Your project this year is to write your own English magazine. Decide on these things in groups then as a class. Okay, in group then as a class. I told you before, so you leave it, you leave this because I already told you to do one project. The sections you will have in your magazine: the best students for the team, a name for your magazine. So mention these things. Now we come to asking and making suggestions. This is very important, guys. This is very important. Okay, make it important. Asking and making suggestions. Important. Okay, this is important. How can you make a suggestion? Why don't we start a magazine? تستخدم لهذا التعبير. We use this expression to make a suggestion. Okay, what's the meaning of suggestion? اقتراح. يعني أنت تقترح شيء لشخص ما. Okay, مثلا تقول له ليش احنا ما نروح، ليش ما نجي، ليش ما نسوي كذا، شو تقول هذا يسمونه اقتراح. تستخدم the first one is why don't we ندخل بعد فعل. why don't we start a magazine؟ ليش ما نسوي مجلة بيناتنا؟ واحد يسأل صديقه، اقترح على صديقه، هذا اقتراح. why don't we start a magazine؟ Or for example, you are very hungry and you want to buy a sandwich, okay? For example, falafel, but you don't have money. So you suggest to your friend, hey my friend, why don't we go and have some sandwiches? What do you think? Your friend may agree about that. Then when you go there and eat, he will pay. This is a very tricky one. Okay, so what sections shall we have? What sections? This is a question, but also related to the suggestion. Okay, the third one is let's have articles about the school. We also sometimes use this one. Let's. دعنا. Let's and we add a verb. Let's with a verb. Let's go. Let's have. Let's drink. Let's do something. Let's jump. Let's travel. Anything. The questions are many. Okay, questions are many. So this is very important. There are 5 ways to express suggestions. Okay, 5 ways to express suggestions. The first one is by using why don't we start a magazine? Why don't we go and eat a sandwich, for example? And what sections shall we start? Or what sandwich shall we eat? Okay, what mall shall we go, etc. And the third one is let's plus verb. Let's have articles about the school. Other questions are other suggestions are let's do our homework, let's play piano, let's play football, let's play video games, and etc. Okay, thank you very much indeed for listening.